The lost World War II home defense secrets modern preppers are missing. Some of the smartest survival tactics ever used didn't come from elite soldiers or classified bunkers. They came from ordinary families who had everything to lose and, well, almost nothing to defend themselves with. And here's the part most people forget. Many of those tactics still outperform modern prepping gear, alarms, and so-called tactical hacks today. When danger came knocking during World War II, these families didn't fold. They adapted, improvised, and quietly built some of the most effective home defense systems the world has ever seen. Their homes became shields, their neighborhoods became networks, and their discipline became their greatest weapon. These forgotten tactics weren't fancy. They weren't expensive. They were clever, gritty, and born from real-life pressure. And if you care about preparedness, even just a little, what they did back then may be the most important lessons you take away today. Let's break down the strategies that kept families alive during the chaos of World War II and see how the same gritty methods work even better in the modern world. Strengthening the home from the inside out. Long before reinforced doors and impact-resistant windows existed, families in World War II figured out how to toughen their homes with nothing but tape, boards, and determination. They didn't rely on high-tech gear. They relied on physics, common sense, and speed. Windows were taped in thick, crisscross patterns. Not because it looked good, but because this simple trick prevented glass from exploding inward when shockwaves hit. A cheap roll of tape could mean the difference between safety and disaster. Rural families went further by stacking sandbags against shutters or reinforcing window frames with scrap wood. Even humble cellars became dual-purpose bunkers, storing valuables and providing life-saving protection during air raids. You can still apply this today. Having plywood pre-cut to your window sizes means you can secure your home in minutes if trouble rolls in. Sandbags, as old school as they sound, remain one of the best force-absorbing barriers in existence. They stop bullets, they stop debris, they stop water, and they're cheap. Everything World War II families did to strengthen their homes still works today because, honestly, the physics of protection haven't changed. Making intruders reveal themselves before reaching the door. Now, this is where wartime ingenuity really shines, you know. In many occupied areas, civilians weren't allowed to own firearms, so brute force just wasn't an option. Instead, they fought with time. Folks built what they called layered defenses, forcing intruders to make noise, slow down, or even expose themselves. They'd clutter gardens on purpose, creating bottlenecks and predictable paths. Sometimes, they'd stretch wires low to the ground or plant thorny hedges right under the windows. Tin cans were rigged up to rattle at the slightest movement. Even the crunch of gravel could become a warning system in the quiet of night. This wasn't about stopping an enemy outright. It was all about buying 10 precious seconds, or 5, even just 2. Sometimes that was enough to wake up, to hide, or to react. These days, motion lights do what tin cans once did. Thorny bushes under windows still discourage intruders, and gravel paths, well, they still expose footsteps instantly. None of this requires a permit or a single weapon. It's, the subtle art of forcing threats to reveal themselves, long before they reach the front door. The biggest myth about home defense is that you can do it alone. World War II families knew better. Survival in those years was a team effort. Neighborhoods became living defense networks. Folks watched out for one another. They shared signals, rhythms, and codes. Maybe a tapped pattern on a door, a lantern turned off at a window, or even a whistle. Sometimes a lookout rotation. It wasn't paranoia. It was preparation. They understood something, well, that modern society tends to forget. A threat to one home becomes a threat to every home. Imagine applying that today. Not with lanterns, but with group chats, agreed-upon alerts, simple radios, or even hand signals. A trusted network is still one of the strongest forms of defense you can build. It multiplies awareness, it multiplies speed, and, it multiplies your chances of staying safe when things go wrong. Mastering the art of not being noticed. One of the most underrated tactics of the era is concealment. Families learned that drawing attention, any attention, could be dangerous. So they made their homes look unimportant. They kept curtains drawn. They let gardens grow wild. They buried valuables and hid essential supplies inside walls or beneath floorboards. The goal was simple. Don't attract curiosity. Don't look like a target. These days, modern prepping often falls into the opposite trap. Folks stack up all this expensive gear in their garages, or maybe they display their equipment outdoors, or run those loud generators that, basically announce to everyone around exactly who has resources. But let me tell you, the World War II approach still wins out. Keep your supplies discreet. Make sure you conceal your generators. Don't go around broadcasting what you own. Just, blend in. Honestly, the best prepared home is the one no one even notices. Back in World War II, families weren't dreaming about those Hollywood-style standoffs. Nope, they were all about deterrence. Slowing things down, making an intruder really stop and rethink everything. Folks would reinforce doorways, put longer screws in the hinges, add stronger strike plates, and even move heavy furniture to just the right spots. It was all about making it tough enough that trouble might just pass you by. And let me tell you, even having a dog gave you a huge advantage. Not because the dog was going to attack, but because of the awareness they brought. A barking dog was honestly better than just about any alarm system you could get back then. And honestly, that still holds true today. The plain truth is, deterrence still wins out over confrontation every single time. You want to encourage hesitation. You want to encourage retreat. You want to make those second thoughts as loud as possible in someone's mind. That's how ordinary families survived real danger. Discipline, drills, and calm under pressure. Well, this is the part modern preppers often ignore. World War II families practiced. They drilled. They made readiness a habit, not just an idea. Children knew exactly what to do when sirens wailed. Families grabbed essentials in seconds. They moved without confusion. These families created the first go bags without ever calling them that. And they didn't just pack them. They rehearsed using them. Try it today. Go ahead and turn off the power for a night and see how your home operates. Time your evacuation, just to get a sense of how long it really takes. And practice communication with everyone in your household. Knowing your gear isn't enough. And, knowing your plan isn't enough either. Discipline is the glue that makes survival real. The forgotten tactics of World War II weren't high-tech or glamorous. They were practical, human, proven. And, honestly, they still beat many modern strategies because they focus on fundamentals. Reinforce the home, force threats to expose themselves, build community strength, blend in, deter early, and practice until it becomes instinct. If you want more deep dives into the hidden survival knowledge history tried to bury, make sure you hit subscribe and share this video. History's survival code is here to bring the past back to life and turn old wisdom into modern power.